Basically, freedom of information is to reinforce the trust in government.
It's to lift the veil of secrecy.
The FOI Act, as it turns 50, is really the document that I think has preserved kind of the truest measure of a democracy.
Our democracy. It's a democracy, for goodness sake.
The best democracy in the world.
That's the bedrock of democracy, is accountability. And that's what the Commission is designed to do. That's what these laws are designed to do.
Ella Grasso was elected governor in 1975 after a pretty hectic campaign in '74. And she, as you people probably remember, was the first woman elected governor on her own right in the United States. She had a long history in issues relating to freedom of information and press freedom. First, primarily as Secretary of State before she was a Congresswoman. And one of her campaign issues had been the creation of a Freedom of Information Act in Connecticut.
The law goes back, Ella Grasso's law goes back 50 years. CCFOI goes back 70 years. It was founded in 1955, 20 years before Ella passed the law.
And she made it part of her platform to pass a Freedom of Information law. During those 20 years, every year the news industry brought Freedom of Information legislation to the Capitol. And every year it was defeated because it was sent to the Judiciary Committee, which was largely comprised of lawyers. And lawyers didn't like the Freedom of Information Act at that time. I think they've changed their mind.
The preamble to the law that created it 50 years ago starts out just sort of declaring the legislature finds and declares that secrecy in government is inherently inconsistent with a true democracy, and that the people have the right to be fully informed about the action taken by public agencies so that they may, in order that they may maintain sovereignty over the instruments they created.
Our law only covers state agencies. It covers municipal agencies and state agencies, and it's in addition to accessing records, it's access to public meetings.
And they get a full-blown hearing, an adjudicative hearing. It's like a little court proceeding, except we like to think it's much more user-friendly than that. So people get a place to come air those access disputes. You don't need a lawyer to come with you if you're on the requesting side. And you'll get a decision from the commission that is binding on the agency.
And at the hearing, both sides tell their story to the unbiased commissioner who's hearing it or the unbiased FOI attorney. And this is why I think I should have it. This is why I think we should withhold it. And then the hearing officer can issue a ruling, and it's, pretty much a 50-50 proposition.
And there's a saying in the FOI community, information delayed is information denied. And that's certainly been an ongoing problem for all these years.
It's tougher as a public official to keep up with it because these requests are getting more and more voluminous, and then there's people that are sort of weaponizing the freedom of information.
I think the challenge sometimes is when people mix their using personal devices to do things versus their public equipment. And I think that's kind of where the struggle is in this electronic world, making sure that the FOI law, I think in our state it does cover it, but in other states they're sort of grappling with this public-private notion and the idea that maybe if somebody's using their private device, then it's private.
It requires vigilance on the part of journalists and the public. It's not just journalists who use the FOI Act, it's the public as well.
In fact, every year CCFOI has to go up to the state legislature and testify against laws that are trying to make things more secret. It's a constant battle to keep public information public.
That particular fight doesn't end. Anyone who comes under the auspices of being open to scrutiny by the public doesn't necessarily like it, even if they're doing the right thing, they can just be a bit paranoid about it.
And so the fight will never end. Connecticut needs CCFOI to make sure that the information citizens need to make decisions is available to them.